record and one second. Clock. Okay, ready?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm
Why
ready.
don't you start by telling us about your talent?
So for my talent, I will be playing Old Joe Clark, which is a classic fiddle tune with all the fun elements of the country fiddle style. And for so long, I have been playing classical music for a large part of my life, and it's the Suzuki method, which is so different and distinct from this fiddle style that I'm going to play for you guys today. But I have always been fascinated by the excitingness of that style, and I think that distinguished young women surrounded by so many supportive, powerful, independent women is the perfect place for me to break out of my shell and try something new with this.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I should have my next one ready to go. Um, okay, so you say that you like the musical group Bad Bunny. What type of music is that, and why do you like them?
Bad Bunny, he is a singer, he's a solo singer, and his style is reggaeton, which is a Spanish style. It's often noted as the Spanish style of rap, and it's often got a bad connotation to people are like, oh, it's meaningless, like the words don't really mean anything, it's just a dancing song. But to me, Bad Bunny's music is so much more than that. He had one album called Un Verano Sin Ti, which was the number one most, and still is the number one most played album on Spotify. And he used the reason he is so important to me is because he used that fame to launch his platform and his voice, and his next album he used to speak out against issues he's very passionate about. In his new album, he completely talked about for the entire album, he talked about the gentrification of Puerto Rico and the mistreatment of the locals and what tourism has done to Puerto Rico as a whole. And I think it is so important that people who, aside from having amazing music, that people in his position of fame use their platform to amplify problems like this and bring a difference to either their country or just the world around them. And that's why I love Bad Bunny.
All right. What do you think has been Justice Sonia Sotomayor's greatest contribution to the Supreme Court so far?
I think Justice Sotomayor's greatest contribution to the Supreme Court is bringing empathy into law. I think law is often regarded as something that is meant to be objective, but Justice Sotomayor has made people realize that lived experiences and often different like empathy is a large part of what drives our country and has to be included in law. And that's what I think is her greatest contribution to our country and the bench in general.
Okay.
Question. If you had a day all to yourself with zero obligations, how would you spend your day?
If I had a day all to myself with zero obligations, I think I honestly would take a good book and I would go sit in this very hidden nook of a beach in downtown Milwaukee. It is called Atwater. I think it is one of the hidden gems of Milwaukee. And I would take a good book, a beach towel, and I would just lay there for the rest of the day and maybe even finish that book.
Okay. Tell us about an adversity that you've had to overcome in your life.
I think an adversity that I had to overcome in my life was my sophomore year. I got cut from the school volleyball team. And the reason that was so important to me because growing up, volleyball was my everything. I thought volleyball was going to be my career. I mean, everyone thinks that with their sport. I thought volleyball was going to be with me for the rest of my life. But getting cut from the high school team, I it was kind of gut wrenching. I was like, oh, this might not be what I do for the rest of my life. But I also realized that maybe it wasn't meant to happen for me. And it's like it taught me a lesson of everything happens for a reason. And even if it might not seem like it's supposed to happen in that moment, you can always shape it in your aspirations. So I used my time away from volleyball to focus on other things I was passionate about, like robotics and best buddies and my other extracurriculars. I took advantage of that newfound time.
Right. Well, you are obviously bilingual. How is that an advantage for you in the USA today?
I think aside from being bilingual, it's bilingual by itself. Spanish is the second most spoken language in the entire world, and it's very prevalent in the United States today. It is also the second most spoken language in the United States. And not only does it open a lot of doors for communication, but it also gives you a different perspective because you have this very different pathways of communication and you understand that so many different lived experiences from different people that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to understand. For example, there's many people in this country who don't speak English, and I, being bilingual, have been able to amplify their voices that would not have otherwise been heard because they weren't able to speak English. But I think everyone has a message, a purpose, and sometimes if you don't speak English, it makes it difficult. And I feel like I can be that bridge for other people.
How is your response to somebody's perspective that English should be the primary language of America and that everybody should learn how to speak it?
Well, I think that does have some value to it just because English is a growing language. It is what people call the language of globalization. However, people also must understand that our country was founded with so many different languages, and we are built off the back of immigration. Almost everyone here is originally from immigrants and from different languages. And I would tell them, I would challenge them with the viewpoint that Spanish actually was here before English. The Spanish conquistadors got here before English people, and I understand that English is the widespread language, but we also have to understand that there are so many different people coming at so many different times, and sometimes learning English isn't their main priority.
Okay. What is a country you'd love to visit?
A country I would love to visit would be Japan. I have never been to Asia, but love I love Japanese food particularly. That might be a weird reason to say I want to travel there. I also love their architecture, and I think just the it's so different from everywhere I've visited before. I've never stepped foot outside the Western Hemisphere, and I think Japan would be the perfect place to explore new avenues.
Okay. Um, okay. Tell me about what haven't I asked you about? I want to get something new here. Um, Tell me about your work as a STEM subject mentor.
I began working as only a math tutor. I reached out to the school downtown that serves the Latino population of Milwaukee, and I offered my services as a bilingual math tutor. And that was what it was at the beginning. I was just working as a math tutor once a week. And then I realized the impact I was having on these children, specifically because they had someone to look up to that looked like them. And they realized, hey, this person is Latino just like me, and they can do math. And so I thought, what else can I do with this representation, with this platform that I have? So I asked if I could start a club called Makerspace, which I started at the girls' middle school campus, and it is an engineering club, which is something I am deeply passionate about. It's something I want to go into. And so I took this platform that I had and I built this club for Latino girls to understand that engineering is a place for them, is a place they can see themselves, because I know that's something I didn't have. And I want us all to join together to make this metric, which is only 2% of Latinos in general, not counting Latino women, 2% of Latinos are engineers. And I want to grow this metric to maybe even 10%. And I think this is one of the ways to start by being a STEM mentor.
Wait, 2% of Latinos are engineers or 2%
Oh,
of
sorry,
engineers are
2% of
Latino?
engineers are Latino. I
Okay.
phrased
All
that
right.
wrong. That is
Got it.
my bad.
Got it. Okay. Um, okay. Shoot, I was just gonna ask you something else and then I lost it. Why should you be the distinguished young woman of Wisconsin?
I think I should be the distinguishing woman of Wisconsin because I embody all the values that we aim to strive for and distinguish young women. I lead through service, whether that's being a STEM mentor or bringing violin to people through my Gateway Milwaukee program. I also embody talent, not only through my own violin, but I use my talent to amplify other people's voices. I also have, I also strive for strong scholastic achievement, whether it's class rigor or taking scholastic opportunities elsewhere. I conducted my own research paper which I think is the perfect opportunity to like do scholastic outside of the classroom. Through these three branches, I think I would lead distinguished young women through passion, purpose, and pride.
Okay. Um, what is not on your forms that you really would like us to know?
Something that's not on my forms that I would really like you guys to know is that I spend a lot of my time in Colombia. I know that it does say that I'm bilingual, but that doesn't really encompass the whole aspect of it. I leave every time I leave Colombia to come back here, I feel like I leave a part of myself there. And that's such a big part of me. And that's why I think you see so many different aspects of my form come together. And you might not realize why. For example, I am very passionate about immigration. I am a bilingual mentor. I work with a lot of Latino students. I am a Hispanic Scholarship Fund scholar. I think it is a large part of my application, but it doesn't make sense until you understand that a large part of me is being Colombian despite living here.
Okay. All right. Well, the timer went off while you were, but I didn't want to cut you off because I really wanted to hear that answer. So,
Yeah,
how'd you feel about that one?
I think I went fine.
Yeah. I personally, I feel like that was your best one. What do
I
you
think
think, Jules?
I thought it was fantastic. Um, Very well thought out answers with a beginning, middle, end statistics, and feeling. I
Mhm.
was thinking about that Bad Bunny answer, and
I think we lost her.
yeah, I think
And
I didn't hear that last part.
position platform was a chance for you. Like
Mhm.
that, I want this chance to represent Wisconsin and to do the same thing with my platform. I just thought that would be an easy segue.
Okay, yeah.
But that, other than that, I thought it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I will say that was the best positive energy I've ever seen out of you consistently through the whole thing. And things that I was kind of surprised that I saw the good energy coming through. Uh,
Mhm.
First and foremost, on the adversity question, I wrote great smile. Like, who smiles when they think about adversity? But that was really, it was a very genuine, like the gut wrenching, oh my gosh, I didn't make it. Like everybody has had that feeling at some point when they didn't make something. I mean, especially a panel of judges in their maybe 30s, 40s, 50s.
Mhm.
If they haven't experienced some kind of disappointment at this point in their lives, they're freaks. They're freaks of nature,
Mhm.
right? So everybody can relate to that. And I think that was such an honest, oh my gosh, yeah, we can relate to that.
Mhm.
And it was just it was a little self-deprecating, but it was honest. It was, like who doesn't think they're going to be the best at what
Mhm.
they're doing at that age? That was so sincere and lovable. Like you pulled me in with that one. That was really good. The talent, I wrote great energy right from the start. Like that was
Mhm.
obviously a question that you saw coming. You were ready for it. You were
Mhm.
excited about it. The only thing I wrote on there, I don't think excitingness is a word. So
Okay.
excitement.
Okay.
If you've got it,
Excitement.
if you're kind of
Yeah.
running a script in your head
Yeah.
on that one,
Okay. Mhm.
just you don't want to use. But you said it with such conviction. I kind of wondered myself if maybe it was a word.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then Bad Bunny, that was such a knock it out of the park answer. I just didn't see that one coming at all. That was really good. Sotomayor, my politics. I was happy to hear how you had something really positive to say about her that I think anybody on either side of the aisle would say, okay, yeah, that's a really good human quality. Even if maybe you didn't pick a particular decision or a dissent or anything, you went with her
Mhm.
humanistic qualities, which I think is a really safe and admirable way to take it because
Mhm.
you didn't get lost in the weeds with the
Mhm.
the specifics that might turn somebody off and go,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, I didn't agree with that policy.
Mhm.
That was solid. Um, and then the day, oh my gosh, totally pictured that. Totally saw you at the beach. You named the specific park, the book. The only thing maybe missing was the title of the book or the type
Mhm.
of the book or whatever, but I don't even think that really mattered because it was so specific. Going to the beach in Milwaukee, a secluded beach that you knew about. That was awesome. Um, the adversity, again, I wrote great smile. Everything happens for a reason. That was really good. the bilingual, um, this connected so much in my mind to your last answer about Colombia.
Mhm.
It really it was on the border maybe of rambling, but
Mhm.
I do feel like you had some really good stuff you were talking about there. I love that you put in there that's the second most spoken language in the world and also in America. And then also doubled down with that it was spoken here first before English. I think those are all great reasons to study Spanish.
Mhm.
And that's why I followed up on the do you think we should make English the
Mhm.
primary language or the
Mhm.
official language of the United
Mhm.
States? Um, there are costs involved with that.
Mhm.
There are, you know what I mean? So those are kind of the more political aspects of
Mhm.
why yes or no we should do that. Um, but I thought it was a very solid answer. The country, Japan, super honest. You love the food. That's great. I think that's a great reason. And you also like you're just dropping vocabulary in there that for me, I know the words, but I don't know that they would roll out of my
Mhm.
tongue the way that they do for you. Like I don't know that I would say I've never stepped off the Western Hemisphere. That shows a level of sophistication, a level of travel, a level of just, knowledge of the world beyond your zip code that
Mhm.
that it just stood out to me. It
Mhm.
was a next level, like if I were reading an essay, I'd be like, oh, sophistication point. We're going beyond just the
Mhm.
basic here. So that was good. The STEM mentor, I liked that you talked about how they looked at, because I can look at you and say, you look like anybody else in Brookfield. And
Mhm.
if I didn't know anything beyond what you looked like, I wouldn't necessarily think, oh, she's from Colombia and she
Mhm.
speaks Spanish and she's got this whole culture that's
Mhm.
way beyond Elm Grove, right? So I like that you said that you look like them and that you were inspirational to them for that reason, because I don't know that a panel of judges would necessarily look at you and say, she is not from America. That's not her heritage, right?
Mhm.
But you said it in such a positive way and inspirational that I thought that was good. And then dropping the name of the makerspace, the engineering club that you brought to them,
Mhm.
and then the rule for Latina girls. Oh, club for Latina girls. Yeah. And then dropping the statistics about the engineers. That was good. And then DYW. Why do you want to be DYW? um, Embodying the values, leading through service, all that was really, really good stuff. And I love that you ended it with the passion, purpose, pride. That sounded you like you were ready for that. It was
Mhm.
obvious that you have a vision. If anything, I would maybe say something about wanting the opportunity to keep going on this journey,
Mhm.
to do this again, for this
Mhm.
not to end right now, to feel like
Okay.
you've got more to share, that
Mhm.
just have a vision for like what it would be like to go and represent Wisconsin in Mobile or something like that, so that you plant that image in their mind too,
Mhm.
right? Like
Okay.
I see myself on that stage in
Mhm.
Mobile. I know I can represent Wisconsin, something like that in a
Mhm.
positive way. And then the not on the form, that was just perfect. You pulled out so many elements. It was the first time you mentioned the conference that you went to. Um, but a lot of those missing or a lot of those pieces within your forms that are there, but they're not necessarily all tied together the way that you want that vision to be. So I thought that was a super solid answer. This is a great way to end, I feel like. I think you are so ready for this. I hope
Absolutely.
you're excited about it.
I am. I honestly, I am really excited. I think I just like feel leaps and bounds ahead of where I was at the local program.
Mhm.
I think I walked into that interview. I'm gonna be very honest. I think I barely knew what I put on my form.
Yeah,
And now I feel like I have a good understanding of what I put on my form. I feel pretty prepared. I'm
good.
excited. I'm
You're
honestly,
my favorite kind of person to work with, Bella, because you're super smart and you've got all this stuff. You just needed to pack your suitcase. You hadn't packed yet at the local program. You hadn't like figured out what was all there and sorted it in your mind exactly where you knew where it was and put
Mhm.
those pieces together.
Mhm.
Now I feel like I know that there's still stuff that's amazing about you that I don't know because
Mhm.
we haven't touched on absolutely everything in your form. But the best way to keep preparing, if you have time, is just look at the questions from the sample questions. You still have access to that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, just look through those and think about the things that you definitely want to share with the judges, right?
Mhm.
And ask yourself, where could I insert that?
Mhm.
Right? So if I look through these questions from contestant number 3, right? Look at those questions that she got and where would I have stuck my conference answer? Where would I put my, you know what I mean?
Where can I find those again?
It's on the week at a glance, but I think I have
Okay.
it open. I
Okay.
should
Yes.
be.
Okay, sounds good. I have because I've really been practicing these. I probably look crazy when I'm at my job and like if I have like sometimes there's like no one in the pool and like I have no one to watch, so I'll just sit there and ask myself interview questions and like see how I would answer. And I just know members look at me like I'm crazy, but
That's funny. That's funny. Okay, I just shot it to your email, so you've got it.
okay. Sounds
Hopefully,
good.
yeah. Yeah, that's the best way. Like, think about the things that you are super excited to talk about, and
Hmm.
look at those questions and see, like I'm looking randomly at number 5 here. What's your talent? What do you hope the audience gets out of it? That one's ready to go. If you could play one instrument, what would it be? All right, well, you're a musician, so that you should be able to shoot that out of the park. What route are you thinking about? This one is actuarial science, but for you, it would be your aerospace engineering, right? You're ready for that. What do you hope your sister learns from you? Do you have a sister? I don't
I
know.
do. Yeah, I have a
Okay.
little sister.
Right. And so all these great values that you have, that's where you pull that in.
Mhm.
Tell us about a time you overcame adversity we covered. Have you ever been bullied? We haven't talked about that. And how did you face it? Right. And
Yeah.
and if you haven't, like, you know, I haven't, but I have a friend who was,
Mhm.
and this is
Yeah.
how I helped her
I
now.
already have like a good idea for that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Favorite form of crafting? Well, this could be anything on your form then, because this kid was into crafting, but you're into creative writing. What's your favorite type of creative writing you like to do? Right? So just think about how these would all apply to your own forms. Is America ready for a woman to be president? Interesting. Was that this year? This might, oh, that
They
was.
asked they asked everyone that question. I remember the local program, they asked every single person that question.
Interesting. When we are already past the
Yeah, I don't
presidential
know.
election. Hmm,
That
okay.
was I was a little honestly, I think that was one of my weaker answers. I wasn't really sure. I was like, I don't know.
You want me to give you some advice if you hear something like that? Anything woman
Yes,
related? It
yes.
depends on the content of her character and her skills.
Hmm.
Yeah, if she's qualified, great. Sure, let's go for it.
Hmm.
But not just because she's a woman,
Hmm.
right? I think that's a perfectly fine answer. I have no objection to a woman being in charge of anything at all. But I do want to know that she's qualified, just like I would if it were a man who was in consideration for the position, right?
Hmm.
I think that's a super easy question that people get
Okay.
lost in the weeds on that, but
Hmm.
always it's about how qualified are you?
Hmm.
Like, do we want a woman who's not qualified who's going to drag us into war and debt? Probably not, right? So, all right. I think you are super, super ready, Bella. I would love to see how the talent's shaking out. If you have a time to do
Okay.
a 90-second video when you're practicing sometime, shoot it to me. Um, and how's fitness coming? I haven't talked to you about that.
Fitness, honestly, I feel again much more prepared for this. The last one, I remember I came like straight back from Colombia. I didn't have any time to practice that fitness, but this one I've been practicing it a lot more. There are definitely some aspects of it though that I like was worried about because I was like, wow, this is hard. Like the push-ups.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's hard. And the balance, but I think I'm getting it down. I was
Okay.
actually about to go practice that after this. I'm gonna go practice that fitness.
Good. Yeah. Practice everything you're going to do in the clothes that you're going to wear. So
Okay.
make sure you got some really good leggings that aren't,
Hmm.
you don't have to pull up or tug at or anything.
Hmm.
Make sure you got a super solid jog bra.
Yeah, that was
Um,
both. I had both of those problems at the local level. My leggings were too big and were falling down, and my bra did was too big as well. It was just not great.
yeah. All right. So we're good on that.
Yeah.
Um, and then you might want to consider taking some safety pins along with you,
Hmm.
just in case you want to. Some people will pin the top of their inside of their t-shirt to the top of their
Hmm.
leggings. So
Oh,
you're
that's smart.
never having to worry about is it pulling? Is it going to pop up? And if it does pop up, it's not the end of the world. You're wearing a jog bra. Who
Hmm.
cares? But if you're, a little more modest and don't want that to happen,
Hmm.
just pin it in and then you don't have to think about it at all.
Okay.
Good.
Sounds
And the
good, yes.
did the dress work out okay with the?
Yes, it worked out perfectly.
Good,
My mom thought it was really pretty. She liked
good,
it.
good,
And yeah, Meg liked it too, so
good. All
looking
right.
great.
Well, sounds like you are in good shape.
Yes, I'm actually really excited about this.
Good. You should be. It's a showcase. We call it a showcase because it is a showcase of everything wonderful about you. And
Hmm.
awards come at the end of a showcase. So
Hmm.
think of it like a musical. You know, everybody
Yeah.
goes into that and they all celebrate showing off what they can do, what they've been practicing on. And at the end of the night, can you imagine if the cast list came out at the end of the musical? That's when
Hmm.
you found out who got the lead.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
ridiculous that we do it this way in
Yeah.
to a
So,
degree because you know what I mean? Like you guys are all rock stars going into this, and people will be all kinds of different levels of prepared and talent. But at the end of the day, it's whoever across the board on all the categories really stands out to the judges. And
mhm.
it doesn't mean that if you don't win talent or you don't win interview, whatever, that yours wasn't wonderful. It could mean one judge, you know, I've judged programs before where we get to deliberation. I'm like, where's my girl? She's not even one of the top three I get to talk about. And I scored her a 10 in interview. What the heck? Where is she? Right? So it don't take it personally
Mhm.
because the judges don't even know how things are shaking out. They
Mhm.
truly don't know who is even the top contenders until they get back to that deliberation room. So
Mhm.
you might be somebody's all-time favorite.
Mhm.
Maybe somebody else was looking the other way when somebody else screwed up her push up. You know, it's a little bit of a crapshoot. You just do your best to keep smiling through the whole thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
especially with fitness, keep smiling
Mhm.
in that back line.
Yes.
They're doing the individual
Yeah.
section. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a thing for me. I think also during self-expression, I also didn't smile as much. So I
yeah,
like both of those. I've been like this again, I probably sound crazy. I've been like training myself during lifeguarding. I'll just be randomly smiling as I'm
good,
skating.
good. I love it.
I'm training my cheek muscles.
Right? I mean, when you think about it though, Bella, they're looking for somebody that they feel is going to go to nationals and be a positive representative for the state of Wisconsin,
Hmm.
regardless of awards. Like the number
Hmm.
one thing they want to know is this person going to be well received and fit in and really be a positive voice for our state?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so likability is huge with this
Hmm.
program.
Yeah, I know that's right. Like Ashria, like she came back, like distinguished young woman of America came and visited her. Like,
Mhm. That's awesome. Yeah. Making friends, it's a huge like my daughter did this program and trust me, she grew up with it and all she wanted to do was win. She just wanted to go to nationals, right? And like she was crushed when she didn't win state.
hmm.
But she found her absolute best friends through this program. The girl who
Hmm.
won really was her best. It still is one of her best friends. She was her maid of honor. You know, like they
So
really
sweet.
connected and stayed close. And
Yeah.
she could have gone into that being super jealous and kind of
Hmm.
paranoid about her. She was governor for Girls State, Badger Girls State. Like she had a lot of great things going for her because she was a great girl, right?
Hmm.
And they became best friends.
Yeah.
So,
I already see like these girls, they're already like very kind. Like for example, like for our opening number, we needed wedge heels. Meg told us we needed wedge heels like last minute, and no one really had wedges. So one of the girls in our group chat went to Goodwill and just filled a cart full of wedges, and like she's
oh,
like bringing like them to us. I like she like all these girls are so amazing.
I
I can
love
already
that.
tell.
I love that. That's so awesome. Yeah.
Hmm.
This is such an opportunity to just add to your sisters. And
Hmm.
you just never know, like how
Yep.
these connections might stay together. Because even like the year after, I know we're running out of time, but the year after my daughter's local program, she came back and talked to them about going to Troy University, which is
Hmm.
the school that she went to in Alabama, and she got a full ride scholarship
Hmm.
through DYW. So she came and talked to them about it. And two of the next year's girls ended up going to
Hmm.
Troy as well. And one of them was her little in her sorority, and the other one is truly her best friend. And like they have
Hmm.
a podcast together now. They've
That's
traveled
so
to Europe
fun.
together. Like they are absolute, that's the sister she never had. Um,
Hmm.
so you just never know where the connections are going to come from. It may not even be in your state group, but some kind of connection with the program. The more positive you can stay with it and not let the competition get to your head,
Mhm.
the more you're gonna see like, this girl who brought the wedges, like everybody loves her already. That,
Mhm.
that's just a friend. And why wouldn't you want good things to happen for her? I don't even
I
know who
agree.
she is, and I'm happy for her,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just eat that all up and think about how you can help others, and don't worry about the judging because
Mhm.
it's out of your hands. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So just have a good experience and don't let the Brookfield Elm Grove pressure get to you. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at
Mhm.
all. We're
Okay.
super proud of you already.
Thank you.
Good. All right.
Yes.
So I will see you Saturday night. If you need anything, don't hesitate to text. Let me know. It's, we'll
Mhm.
get you. We're not that far away.
Okay. And then I
Good.
can either swing by, would you prefer if I swing by before work or after work? Because I end at 8.
Totally up to you.
Okay.
Totally up to you. Okay.
Okay.
I'll
Sounds
just
good.
have it
Yes.
ready.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank
Have
you.
fun.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for
Bye.
popping in, Jules.
Yes, good luck. Good luck. Great job.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.